Hello everybody, it's Shelby again for the third episode of the OhSheep podcast. Thanks for joining me if you're new, and thanks for returning if you've seen the other two episodes. I got some exciting makeup news to talk about, as well as some knitting and crochet and spinning. I forgot spinning last week, so I'm going to make sure I get to that. And then I have two books to review. I have a fiction and a nonfiction, and they're going to be The House of Spirits by Isabel Allende. Probably saying her name wrong. I'm sorry, I didn't take Spanish in high school, but she's one of my favorite authors. So I'm going to talk about her, and also a book called Haiti: The Aftershocks of History, and that's a nonfiction story. Not story. It's a history of Haiti. So stay tuned for that. First of all, though, we're going to talk about makeup because I have some very exciting news. On Cyber Monday and Black Friday, I bought some makeup stuff, and because who wants to spend money on other people on those days? All those sales, it's all about me. Anyway, so last week I reviewed the ones I got from Etsy and My Beauty Addiction, and then Monday my other order came in, and that is from Sugar Pill. I'm sure this is backwards to you, but it's very shiny, so I thought I'd show you anyway. It's a sticker that comes with every purchase. So I don't know where to put this. I would say I put it on my laptop cover, but I don't know how much longer my laptop's going to survive, so might save this for later. Anywho's so I have literally had my eye on this palette for years. It came out when I was still in college, when I was still a sophomore in college. It's been a few years. And I just, oh my god, I've wanted this thing for so long. And it was on sale for like $27-ish, 27 and something, and versus $34, $36. So I was like, hell yeah, I'm all about that. So, and it is the Cold Chemistry palette. And I have it on my eyes right now. I used every color except the purple Elemental Chaos. I mean, I still like it. I'm going to use it next week probably. Probably tomorrow I'll use it. So here it comes with these lovely 4 colors. And they are Suit and Stars, Diamond Eyes, Elemental Chaos, and Subterranean. And as you can see, they're really big pans. Like, you get a good amount of product here. And these colors are so pretty. They're shimmery. They're all very sparkly. Suit and Stars is definitely the most sparkle. It's a black with rainbow sparkles. Diamond Eyes has some shimmer, but I don't think you'll be able to see it. It's got just some nice, very fine white glitters in it. Elemental Chaos has some purpley pink glitters in it. It's more like a shimmer than a glitter. And Subterranean, which is this green shade right here, has, I would say, green and teal shimmers in it. And it's beautiful. It's like this dark, rich jade color. And it comes in this really nice little package. It's magnetized. It's got, like, the back of the palette has the name of the shadows on it, and these, like, big gemstone looking deals, and it is just really nice. Like, I am so glad that I finally have this. You guys have no idea. Alright, so I have this on right now, and like I said, I used every color except Elemental Chaos, which is the purple color. And let me take my glasses off because you probably can't see. So here's what they look like. Let me get a little closer. I put Subterranean up through here, making a really high crease. And I put Suit and Stars just a little bit right here in the corners to build up a little depth. And on the inner corner right here, I put Diamond Eyes. And I used stuff from other palettes, but that's what I used from the Sugar Pill palette. And I just lightly dusted them on, but even then you could tell like the pigmentation was amazing. I used a fluffy brush for pretty much all of them. And it's so nice. I'm so glad I finally got this palette. And I definitely look forward to buying more Sugar Pill in the future. I'm going to probably use Elemental Chaos tomorrow, and I'll post like a picture of my pretty face on Instagram for that. And I mean, I'll do the same for here. And so I cannot stress how amazing this is. And it came with a little free sample. Isn't this so cute? A little free sample of their loose eyeshadow. Oh, let me just throw it on the floor. Yeah, let's do that. Throw it on the floor. Okay, so let's see. Does it tell me the name? Eyeshadow, glamorous. Doesn't Chroma Lust. I'm not sure if that's the name or like loose shadow line. I forgot. I'm sorry. I'm really bad at this. But it's cute, and it's got the little like cat icon thingy, which is really, really cute. So it's a pink color. You can see in the little heart window there. So it's like a pinky, kind of dusty pink color. And yeah, I definitely look forward to trying that out. Oh, maybe it tells me in here. Oh, it does. It's called Birthday Girl. And this brand is it's a smaller company. It's kind of like Lime Crime. I think they started up later than Lime Crime. And it's an indie brand, I guess is what they're called. And they're vegan and cruelty free, if, you know, that's something you really care about. Oh, God, I sound horrible when I say that. I just, you know, they don't test on animals. They don't use animal products. So that's cool. I can agree with that. And, but yeah, it's a little on the pricey side. Some of their pressed eyeshadows they come in compacts. They're like $8 on the website. But they come on sale on like Nasty Gal and stuff like that every so often. And so while I don't know if I'll get like individual eyeshadows, I'm not a big fan of buying just one eyeshadow at once. I like to get palettes because if I'm gonna spend the money, I want like bang for my buck. But I don't know, maybe I will. I definitely like their loose eyeshadow. They have like this really cool line of loose glitter eyeshadows called Electro Cute. Bright neon colors and loose glittery pigments. And I'm like, ooh. So I definitely will rant. I will rant about Sugar Pill in the future. I'll probably do a look with them again for my next week podcast. And so enough of Sugar Pill. So I don't ramble on forever about them. Another makeup thing I want to talk about, do like a review of, is the Tarte holiday collection for Ulta. This is the one I bought. I bought it like a month ago, maybe. Yeah, it was a Christmas present to myself when I had money. And I saw the one in Sephora, and then it took me a little while to figure out which one I wanted. But I mean, the Sephora one was nice. It was more expensive, and I didn't like I love the eyeshadow palette that came with it. Like, if I could just buy the palette, the eyeshadows, I would. Not that I didn't like the stuff that it came with. It's just like, What really appeals to me about the Ulta one is it's got a bunch of blushes and eyeshadows, and it comes in this handy little box, and you can get a little compact to take these things with you. I'll show you one. For anyone's curious, one of the things I used from this palette today was the Melaleuca lip gloss in the color Paris, which is what's on my lips right now. Isn't it pretty? It's like a nice, it's like the darkest shade that came with the palette, and it's definitely like a bold coral pink. And these lip glosses, the formula is really nice. Like, when it goes on, it's a little sticky, and you have to kind of like let it sit for a few minutes, but then it becomes not hardly sticky at all. It's not as bad as some of the other lip glosses that I've used, and it's very moisturizing. You can like, and it plumps. Like, I can tell my lips feel and look plumper from using this without like realizing it. Like, I didn't get it thinking it would. I mean, I got nice lips. I'm not really usually buy into the whole plumping thing, but it does, and without the weird tingly sensation that other plumping stuff has given me. So this is one of the shades, and it's on my mouth. Let me show you the rest of the palette. So it comes in this nice little box right here. It has Tarte on the front, and it's called Away We Go, and we is spelled like the French yes. I guess the theme for both stores was traveling to France, so everything's very French themed, which is cool. I mean, I took French in high school and utterly sucked at it, but you know, it's cool. And so it comes with, you open it up, it's a magnetized box, and this is what's on the inside. And I took out one of the lip glosses that's what I just showed you, and one of their mascaras goes here. It's back in my eye makeup, so but it's a nice mascara. It's what I'm currently wearing right now. It's pretty cool. The first time I used it, it seemed to really clump up on me, but since I got the Tarte primer, it certainly doesn't clump up as much. So it's you know, it's nice. It's a good. It's like a. I wouldn't say it's a mini. I wouldn't say it's a sample size, but it's not a full size mascara. Yeah, so it's somewhere between there. But anyway, so the neat thing about this palette is I have the sheets on here and the colors don't match up, but these are all individual little mini palettes, and they have a blush and 4 shades, and they're magnetized. So the bottom of the box is a magnet, and you can pull them out like so, and then you can pull out this really cool, oh my god, the whole thing is coming out. No, don't do that. This little compact with Tarte ring across the front in this pretty blue color has a mirror, and you can just pop that sucker right in there. It's magnetized, and you can, let's see if I can, oh dear, this is really hard. But yeah, you can take this with you, and it's a blush for eyeshadows, and you can, the lip glosses are mini, and the mascara is a smaller size, so you can easily pop everything in here and like with your foundation and take it with you. So it's a really good traveling idea, which appealed to me greatly. The Sephora palette didn't do this. Like the eyeshadows came in just like one big pan, and it came with a like makeup bag, a cosmetics bag, like a zipper one, but this is much more portable for me. Like, this is nice. So it comes with, so each little mini palette, let me just put some of this away again, I'm sorry. Okay, just a moment. Get in there. Okay, so I'm just going to take out this insert so that I can show you the eyeshadows a little bit easier. So, like I said, so you get 4 blushes, and you get 4 times 4, 16 eyeshadows. And I've used all of these since buying it, so I wanted to hold off on my first 2 podcasts because I haven't quite used all of them yet, and I wanted to give a good opinion of the whole thing and not just like, oh, this color is really cool, and also this one. No. So I've used all the blushes. I have one on now. It is this, which one did I put on? I put on this shade here. Let me just, like the clear insert thingy is kind of annoying, but they do have the names on the back of the palette. I use Envisioned blush, which is this one right here. It's like the lightest blush that comes in the palette. It has a little satiny shimmer to it. It's not matte, but it's not like big old glitters everywhere, and I just dug my nail into an eyeshadow. I'm sorry. That's so sad. Okay, so this is going to, overall, this is definitely going to be my nude eyeshadow go-to. Like, if I want to wear more subtle colors, if I want to wear, you know, the naked look, so to speak, that everyone goes on about, on and about, I am definitely going to these. Like the mattes and the shimmers. There's one really glittery one, but a lot of them, each little mini palette has like 1 or 2 mattes, and I really like that. And the formula is really nice. Like, it goes right on, it sticks, and it doesn't wear off. Well, I mean, it wears off, but it stays better than other eyeshadows that I've tried in the past. So these are much richer in color than the Naked palette, I think. I only have the original Naked palette, and these they're neutrals, but I think that they're more bold neutrals, if that makes any sense at all. Like, you can actually get color payoff, you can get something nice and not boring out of them. So I highly recommend this. If you haven't gotten it yet, I would get it. I cashed in some points when I bought this, and I had like a coupon, so it only ended up costing me like $36, $38, but I think it's like 45 something. But for 4, you get, you know, 16 eyeshadows, 4 blushes, you get 3 little mini lip glosses, you get a mascara, and you get the little travel compact thing. So I really like this. I like this better than the idea behind the Naked To Go palette. Is that what? No, Naked On The Go. That's what they're calling it. I am kind of tired of Urban Decay's Naked line. I mean, I think it's time to move on. I was really excited when they had the electric palette, which I do have. That was like the first purchase from Urban Decay I'd made in a while because it was like, I want color. If I'm slathering it on my face, it's got to be colorful. And so this is so if you want makeup on the go, I would recommend this. Like, the little compact is really, you know, it's slim and you can shut it. You have blush and all your eyeshadows, and you can bring one of the mini lip glosses or one or two of them and like the mascara, put in your foundation. You could, you know, easily travel with this and like a small cosmetics bag. And I think that's much more practical than than what you get for the Naked To Go palette. Um, just a personal opinion. I mean, I haven't tried the Naked To Go palette. I don't think I'll be buying it. I don't think I'll be buying any more neutrals for a long time because I have this. This is all I need. So there's that. I highly recommend it. And so I have a few colors of that on my eyelids today because I was watching last night some tips on what to do for hooded eyes. And because I don't know if you can tell, I have extremely hooded eyes. Like, you can't even really see my mobile lid when I just, you know, open my eyes regularly. So that's why I have all this crazy ass color all the way almost up to my brow bone, because it turns out that I was not applying my eyeshadow in a very flattering way. And the reason, like, when I would put on my eyeshadow, I would put it all on this mobile lid. I would like close my eyes almost and put it all in here, just this lid area, and put some color up here and like highlight. Whereas I tried this time to be a little bit more liberal with going up with the color. Like, I started out with, I dusted on one of those lighter Tarte colors. I don't know which one, I'm sorry. I dusted it all on the lid, like just loose fluffy brush, and it was like a nude color for me. And then I put on a slightly darker matte, I made sure it was a matte colors because this person was talking about how matte colors flatter hooded eyes better. And she also said not to use sparkles or shimmer, and I don't quite agree with that, but I'll get to that in a second. And so I put that kind of like, I really built it up from not just like my lid, my mobile lid, all the way up, like all the way up as far as I could go. And so that was a slightly darker nude color from that palette. And I just put like a little pop of a lighter highlight shade in the middle of my lid. And then I was like, okay, so I want my sugar pill stuff to really stand out. And it's all shimmery. All the colors in that palette are shimmery. And I didn't quite agree with this one YouTuber. I don't remember her name. I watched 2 videos by her, and her voice really got on my nerves. Like, she was really high and squeaky. I'm sure she's a perfectly nice person, but, you know, there's only so much you can take of the high squeaky voice. And so I took her advice, though. I really like went all the way up with my color, because not only do I have really hooded eyes, I also have glasses. So I had to take off my glasses to show you my makeup. And so I tried to like be really neutral matte on my lid, and then put all the shimmer up here and in the crease and a little bit under, you know, on my bottom lash line, just a little bit, because I didn't want, like, I have some creases under here, and eyeshadow tends to just get in them, and it's unpleasant. So I try to keep it kind of minimal, just enough to balance out the top of my eyes. And I put very light liquid eyeliner on, like just concentrating on this part of my eye, and it definitely seems to make a difference. I can see where this is more flattering to my eye shape and like my hooded eye problem, but I still, like, when I close my eyes, you can still see I have color on my lid. I just tried to keep it matte and light, and I tried to really push it up all the way. So hopefully this is all much more flattering and I look better. I'm always trying to find new ways to apply makeup that suits me better. I'm a big proponent of finding out what works with what you have. I mean, obviously, I wish sometimes that I didn't have these hooded eyes and I had like the perfect eye shape. This shows off all these beautiful colors, and yeah, it's just work with what you got and don't necessarily begrudge yourself. I mean, it's there, work with it. There are ways around it. And then, I mean, I used my Kat Von D highlighter up here, the pinky one, and yeah, so I think that is all for the makeup today. I hope you liked me rambling on about it. Definitely get the Tarte Holiday Palette from Ulta if you can. Definitely look into Sugar Pill Cosmetics. Just Google Sugar Pill. It'll pop up. I really can't wait to buy another palette. Like, they have another really cute one called the Sparkle Baby palette, and it's like these light pastel colors with a little bit of shimmer, which, I mean, on the one hand, I think I don't know if I would like, but on the other hand, I'm like, I'm really versatile with my colors. Like, the way I dress is really weird. Um, my mom says that I am gothic, but she doesn't know what she's talking about most of the time. I do wear a lot of black, but I'm trying every once in a while to wear like earthy colors and like mix it up. So I have half of a wardrobe in earthy colors, like browns and greens and like lighter pastel-y colors, and then I have black and like various black things with skulls on them. So it's hard to like reconcile sometimes. So I like having eye makeup and makeup in general that flatters both. Like, I mean, I'm wearing a much more nude lip than I was last week. Last week I had dark purple on my lips and like dark purple eyeshadow, and I wore like all black all day. But I like to, change it up a little bit, have fun. So, alright, that's going to be it for the makeup section of this podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. If this is all you're interested in, thank you. Stay tuned next week. I'll have another one up. I'm going to try to do this every Wednesday or Thursday. It seems to be the days I have off for the foreseeable future. So, thank you, and happy makeup application. Bye! Alright, so we're going to move right along to the knitting crafting part of my podcast. So since it's right on top, we're going to start with spinning. I haven't done any more spinning in a while. I still haven't unpacked my my wheel yet because I have one more grad school application I need to get out before I can allow myself to play. But I do have some roving I'd like to show you. In late September, there was a local, pretty good-sized fiber festival. There were two. But the first one was called Shenandoah Fiber Festival, and it was my first fiber festival, and I was so excited, and I went there, and the yarn shop I worked for had a small little booth there, but oh my god, it was so cool. I had so much fun. It wasn't that far from me either. It was like 20-minute drive. Anyway, so I went there, spent a lot of money, got a lot of really cool yarn, and I could probably do a whole, like, good 30-minute chunk about everything I got there, but I think I'm going to spread it out a little bit so I'm not overwhelming with just, oh, this is more yarn. Oh, look at this other yarn I got. Oh, more yarn. No, I'm going to try to spread it out a little bit. So I'm going to talk about the roving I got at the, not the first one that I went to, the second one. It was like the next weekend. And it was 2 hours south of me, and I wasn't going to go to it originally. For one, I kind of spent all my money at the first one, and then for another thing, 2 hours away, that's a lot of gas, and I just kind of jokingly said to my mom, like, hey, you want to go spend time with me this weekend and we could go to this fiber festival? Like, I didn't think she would agree. She's like, oh, yeah, I'll drive you down there. We can do that. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So she drove me down there, and it was like in a field under tents. Like, this other one was in a barn, had actual buildings. It was outside, but there were buildings. No, this one was all like in tents. And I went to this one, I was like, okay, I have enough yarn. We all know that. We all know that's not true. But I was like, I'm going to not get any yarn. I'm going to get roving and spinning gear because I wanted to learn to spin. And so I had a specific mission in mind. And I got some stuff. I'll show you the roving that I got. I wish I could tell you who I got it from, but they were just a small local operation, and they don't have a website or anything like that. She has a studio that she opens up on appointment, and that's all. And it was kind of it was farther away from here, so I wish I could remember who I got it from, but you probably wouldn't be able to look them up anyway. So, without further ado, I got this beautiful roving. I got 2 ounces of 2 different kinds. This is Merino and Tussa Silk Blend. And look at these colors. It's like a black base, but with some stripes of purple and blue and black and reds and yellow. And it's so pretty. But it's like on the surface you see all these colors, but it's definitely got a black base. And it's got like silver in it and white, and it's all like stripey together, and I saw a sample right by the big ball of this, of it spun up and knitted in like a little swatch, and it looks like a dark rainbow. And I'm like, yes, I have to have this in my life. I need it. It is so soft. I like want to rub my face in it, but I'm covered in makeup and I don't want to get dirty. But yeah, so this was 2 ounces of this one. It's so squishy. And then I got from the same person this lovely 2 ounces. It's merino and Tessa silk again, but it is a solid midnight blue. It does look kind of black, but here, let me see if I can get a little closer. So you can see it's like a midnighty blue color with traces of teal, and it's, you know, it's just a 2 ounce ball. Altogether, they both cost me like $20-ish. And I got another thing of roving from them. It was merino and BFL mix, but I spun that up already, and that's kind of the thing I won't show people. That's just for me because it was like the first thing I spun on a wheel by myself. So it's just for me to look at and be like, oh, I've already improved. But it's really nice, and I cannot wait to spin it. I'm a little afraid to spin it because merino and silk are really slippery, and I was talking to this lady, and I feel bad, like, looking back. She was trying to talk, she knew that I told her, I'm like, oh, I'm looking to spin, I'm really excited about it, and she had, like, tried to tell me not to get these, and get, something else, like this big bag of undyed wool that she had, and I should have listened to her. I mean, I don't regret buying these. I mean, it's not going to go bad. But she was trying to tell me that this was just not good stuff to start with. Because merino wool itself is really slippery. So it's really difficult for new spinners to, like, draft out. And, like, it goes faster into the wheel even on lower tension. So, so now that I've realized, I've played around with a little bit of, like, fiber. And I realized, oh, yeah, this lady knew what she was talking about. But, so, those are, like, my dream, they're, like, my goal. So, I hope to spin them up really nice. And, at first I was going to think about spin them up into singles and ply them together, because I think that they would look nice. And I might still do that, because it's 2 ounces of fiber each. You can't really get a lot out of 2 ounces of, roving. But if I put them together, you know, I get a sizable 4-ounce skein. So, hopefully, I need to practice some more with BFL, I think, and some, like, rougher, you know, more beginner-friendly wools first, before I go for the, like, silk and merino blend that's soft and, like, feels like an angel's butt against my face. So, that's for spinning. That's a little tidbit there. Like I said, I haven't done any in a while, but that's, like, some roving, so it's spinning related. And let's see, I'm going to talk about just some yarn that I've had in my stash that I want to talk, like, there are a couple smaller brands that I like to talk about local, smaller brands. My goal is to buy more indie stuff, like smaller brands, more local. I mean, I still like the stuff that my yarn store sells, but I want something a little less commercial, a little bit more, you know, something of this area. And there's it's such a rich community in this area of, you know, producers and fiber farms and spinners and stuff. So I want to, like, buy local. And I know everybody says that. And, like, that's what, and a brief aside about the makeup, I forgot to mention. I do want to buy smaller, natural, more friendly, like, friendly makeup brands as well. Like, the Sugar Pill is a small brand. It's I want to shop less at Ulta and more on Etsy and these smaller time cosmetic companies that are safe and they're more natural and it's better for the environment. All that jazz. So that's what I prefer to. That's, like, my goal. So anyway, back to the yarn. There's this place that my dad, he works over in Maryland, and he passes this alpaca place every time he goes to work. And he said that one time earlier this year, they had Alpaca Palooza, and I wanted to go, but I just couldn't get the time off of work. And it was just like, I think it's just when they had a bunch of little baby alpacas running around, but it's this pretty good sized alpaca farm, and they have like a few hundred alpacas, and it's called Sugarloaf Alpaca Company, and it's really cool. And my dad took me there, and it was back in the fall, so I've had this for a little while, and I bought, well, I didn't buy, he bought, because he's just like, I was just like, oh, this yarn is so nice, but I just can't afford it. My dad's like, fine. Um, so I got 2 skeins, and I'm going to show you one today, and it's from Sugarloaf Alpaca Company. It's mill crafted 2-ply sport yarn. It's 100% alpaca, and it's a sport weight. And I got it on sale. It wasn't $26. I got it like 20% off, whatever 20% off of $26 is. I don't know, I can't do math. And it's this stuff right here. And I don't know if you guys are starting to notice, but I like midnight blue. And it's definitely just, oh god, it's so nice. Look at that. Look at the beautiful heathering of it. And it's like a black base, and they dyed little parts of it with the midnight blue. And it's a small skein. How much is it? It's only 200 yards, a sport weight yarn. Oh, it's 70% alpaca and 30% English grade midnight. English guard midnight. I'm not sure what that is. But it's really soft and squishy and local based. Like, they sent it to a mill, but since I've been there, I've seen, like, on their email updates and everything that they have opened up their own mill, like a mini mill in their premises. So I think they're going to start doing their own spinning mill spinning on the premises, which is even better because, less, gas is used to ship the yarn to the mill and ship it back, and less machinery and more small scale local stuff. Oh, excuse me. Ugh, sorry. Ugh. Getting hair attacked into my lip gloss. That's lovely. So this is just some local yarn. It's 200 yards, a sport weight. And I was going to originally use this for my cousin's Christmas present, but again, Christmas holiday knitting, no, just didn't have time. And I found this, they had a similar skein, same amount, same weight, just different colors of a cowl that was on display. And she said that it was I looked up the pattern on the label in Ravelry. It's free, and it takes 200 yards of sport weight yarn, and it's just a nice little like smaller cowl. It has some like lace in it, and it had like twisting cables, and it looked really pretty. And I'm like, ooh. So this is enough to make that. I have it saved into my Ravelry favorites or something, and I'll go through and I'll make it for me probably because it's so soft and it's my favorite color. So that's from Sugarloaf Alpaca Company. You can find them online. They have a website, and I got to feed the alpacas too when we visited. The lady's like, do you want some alpaca food? And I'm like, do I ever? And so she's like, so they kept them, for the most part, they keep them separate. Like, the males and the females are separate. The females and the young are like, they have another pasture, and the males have an own pasture. And she said that the females are a little bit, they're not as friendly as the males. Like, the males will come right up to you if you have food and, like, let you pet them and stuff. So I walked over, and just as I was getting close to this pen, and this one, like, alpaca, he, like, jumped up and was like, ooh, someone's coming with food. So I got to feed him. I got close, and he had like the worst buck teeth, and he was like, my dad was making fun. He was like, these things are so ugly. And I'm like, no, they're cute, and they're soft and fuzzy, and I could like pet them on the head, and they ate out of my hand, and I turned into like a little 3-year-old child. I'm like, fuzzy animal, I want to pet it. So that was nice. I definitely want to go back there again to feed the alpacas and to support like I said, they're in Maryland, but they're really close to me. They're like just across the river from me. So yeah, hooray for local yarn. Stretchy, stretchy. Okay, moving along. And then recently my LYS got a big shipment of Dream in Color, and they've had Dream in Color for a while. They've been carrying it. It's been such a hit with like the Dream in Color club. Where they do the mystery patterns and the mystery yarn and the special dyed yarn and everything like that. So she decided to order a bunch more. And I'm sorry, I'm like inhaling my own hair. So I was like looking at all the goods earlier this week, and there's some really pretty sock yarn. I'm like, I've been itching to make some socks. So I was like just drooling over it. And I'm like, it's so pretty, but I have no money. Like, I have like $40 to my name, people, and I have to wait till Friday before I can get paid. And so I was like, oh, Jeanette, can you hold this for me until Friday? And I'm like, I understand if you don't want to, because it was like last Friday that I asked this, and she said, I told her I'd be like, I completely understand if you'd rather just have it on the table to like sell and just, I understand. She's like, no, we can hold it for you. So she put it on hold, and I came in the next day because she offered to proofread some stuff for my grad school applications because she's, you know, an English person. And I walked in, she's like, oh, someone, you have a Secret Santa. I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, you have a special present from your Secret Santa. And Zach and Jeanette's like, you know, she tells her husband at the register, give Shelby her Secret Santa present. And it was the skein of yarn I had held aside. And I was just, I don't know, I was like really touched that someone would do it. Like, I have a feeling I know who it is. Like, because there were other people there. Like, it was a Friday, so they were doing their Friday sit in it. And I just come off of work. And there was a couple ladies in the room that are friends of mine. And they might have overheard me gushing over it, going like, oh my god, it's so pretty, and I am so poor, I want it. And so I think someone there got it for me, but it was nice. Like, I feel like I need to give back, but like I don't want to like ruin the surprise if the person wanted to remain anonymous. So I told the other night, I was like, Jeanette, can you give me like a clue of what my Secret Santa might like in return, like a little something to show my appreciation? She's like, I don't know, I'll think of it, I'll ask. And I'm like, okay. So that was the story behind the yarn, and here is the yarn itself. So this is Dream in Color Everlasting 9-ply sock. It's super twist yarn, unbelievable washability, wearability, and I believe it's 100% superwash merino wool. But it's like a super spun, like it's a high twist. So apparently it's supposed to, like, even though it has no nylon, it's supposed to have really good wearability and structure and can hold up to constant wear. That is usually the issue with most superwash merino wool. Like if you don't have nylon in your sock yarn, it'll wear faster, like wear off faster. So, and the color is Gilt 701, and it is this really cool, like, grassy green yellow color. It's almost like a green gold, and it's got some, you know, almost purpley colors in some places. You can see kind of there, like purpley brown. And it's super squishy. Squish, squish, squish. Probably because it's such a high spun. It's 9-ply, which I can't even contemplate the size of a single ply if this is the sock yarn and there's 9 of them together. It's like a ninth of this diameter. Hey, what? Definitely not something you could, well, I'm sure there are people who can spin that thin, but not me. So this is, you know, oh, I'm sorry, you probably want to know the yardage of it. I would like to know the yardage too, and it's not gonna give it to me, is it? It's enough to make a pair of socks and then some, probably, because I like making ankle socks. So I definitely look forward to knitting, getting done with my holiday knitting and starting a pair of, I'm thinking something with like leafy, like lace leaf, or like something with leaves in it to take advantage of this color. It's definitely like, oh, it's so nice, and it's so wonderful that someone thought to like actually buy this for me. It was $26.50, which is, you know, your standard price for a smaller brand, really nice sock yarn. If you're not familiar with Dream in Color, I highly recommend them. They are a small-ish company from Chicago, and they do like a lot of hand dyeing and like special colorways, and their colors are bright and bold. I'll show you some Dream in Color Club yarn that I've gotten. I haven't signed up for the club, all of it, because I don't like mysteries. Like, I like knowing what I'm getting into. So I buy it like only on the months that I'm like, ooh, I have to have this. So I'll show you. I sent one of them off to my grandma for her Christmas present, and I'm sure she'll probably send me back a picture of her in it. And I'll show you guys. But I have, like, their colors are like, bam, and they do like individual small scale dyeing. So it's almost like an Etsy dyer, but they have, you know, they ship nationally, and they're like a medium-sized company. They're not Cascades by any means. So, and they have good quality stuff. Like, this is nice. This will make a really good pair of sturdy socks. And so that's that. I'm going on about socks and yarn because I haven't really done all that much new stuff on my needles. which I'll get to. And also it's on top of my stuff, so it's just going in order. One more bit about just yarn. I got this stuff a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago. Maybe, I don't know. You don't care. It's from the, okay, let me see, pull this out very carefully. It's from the, what's the name? The Alpaca Yarn Company, which I don't think is really a small brand. I'm sure you can get them at a few yarn stores. But it's, the website is thealpacayarnco.com, one word. And I got some Swizzle, which is 100% superfine alpaca, 3.5 ounces, 100 grams, equals 215 yards. And it's like a light worsted, or a DK weight, at least. That's what I would call it. Like, it doesn't really tell you on here. But I got it from the DK section of my store. And look at these colors. It's lime green, it's a tealy kind of blue, and black. And it's a two-ply, two-ply. Here's the end, and it's just this really cool color combination. This is one of my favorite color is lime green. So anything with lime green, I'm like, yes, but then it's with black, which is like my favorite color combination is lime green and black. And this blue color is also beautiful, and it's so soft. It's 100% alpaca, so it's nice stuff. And it was $19.25 for one skein. I got two. And I was like, oh, I cannot wait to make something out of this. I'm probably going to make, here's the other ball. This one was cake wound, and this one was started on a cake. But the funny thing about alpaca is it's really slippery. So you can start trying to wind it on a ball winder, and then it'll just pop right off and fly off on the other side of the room. And then you have to spend the rest of your time doing it hand wound. So, like, you know, cake, hand wound. But anyway, so I got two balls of these. And I'm looking to make a matching set of fingerless gloves, a hat, and probably like a small cowl. Because all my knitting accessories and stuff like that, they're all very, like, my winter gear, nothing matches. It's all mixed match. Like, I have a black heavy winter coat, and I have a black and white heavy winter hat. And then I have, like, different colored gloves, and I want everything to match. And these colors go pretty much with anything I wear. So I'm probably going to make a hat, gloves, and a cowl, because it's probably enough. Like, I don't need really long or big gloves. I have really tiny hands, so it'll probably be smaller. So I cannot wait to make these into things for myself. So excited. So that's enough stash sharing for you. I'll get on to something I'm actually working on, and that is this little mitered square blanket. And I made a mitered square dishcloth for my grandma for Christmas, and I sent that off. I posted pictures of it on my Instagram. I made it out of Luna because I wanted it to be like a kitchen towel. But I got so addicted to the technique that I started this madness instead of finishing my mom's blanket. Like a responsible person. And it's just the stuff so far. It's not very big. But I wanted to start something for myself. And I had all this wool. This is Knit Picks Wool of the Andes, not superwash, it's a regular. And I got, ooh, stretchy. Okay, so I got these 4 colors a while ago, like half of a year ago, because I wanted to make a blanket for myself, and I wanted to make a Tunisian interlock blanket. It's like a Lion brand pattern. And what I had in mind was it's made lengthwise, so like you start out one side and you work this way. And I was like, I'm gonna make like a Tunisian interlock ombre blanket where I start with like a really dark blue color and like progressively fade it into a lighter blue color, and it was gonna be awesome. And I had these plans for it, and I ordered the yarn, and it wasn't exactly ombre. Like the colors, like they were a little different online, which is always something it's always a risk you have with buying yarn online, is the colors won't match up exactly with how they look on the computer screen. And so I have these 4 blues, and I started it, and I worked up almost all of the color, and I don't know, it's not going to be ombre. It's not going to look right. The colors just don't, like the way that I wanted to make it wasn't going to look right. So I think I'm going to frog the part of the blanket that I started and rewind them into balls, and I'm going to instead work on this. And the thing about, so I got, how many skeins of each did I get? I think I got 5 skeins of each color, 4 colors, and I got this this blue right here. It's like a jean color. It's got some purple heather in it. And I got this color. This is, I think it was called Winter Wonderland or Frozen Wonderland. It had Wonderland in it. And this is mostly the color that I got. I almost sent it back because this is definitely not, you'll see the other colors and you'll see that like it just does not go with them the way that I thought that I wanted them to go. And I got this one right here, which is a very light, pale, almost white, silvery blue. And then I got this, okay, Midnight Heather, which is, oh god, sorry, which is, you know, a dark, neat, midnight blue heather with a little bit of teal in it. And so originally I thought, you know, this would make it's not going to make an ombre effect. So instead, I'm going to frog what I have and then start with this technique, and I'll get a bigger blanket for the yarn that I have because crochet uses more yarn than knitting. Tunisian crochet uses more yarn than crochet. So I should get a huge blanket out of this because I bought enough yarn to make a throw size Tunisian blanket. So, and I've just been starting with some mitered squares, and I'm working them, there's a word I'm looking for, I'm working them into each other. Like, I started with one, and then I just picked up the stitches along one side and did the rest of it. So they're all attached. I don't have to do any seaming. Yay! I hate seaming. I can't sew. I don't know how to. I don't really want to know. So I've been just picking up the stitches and working them all in like one piece. And I'm liking how the colors look a lot more, they look a lot better like this. So I'm going to make like this crazy, chaotic, different size squares, different color combinations. I don't want the edges to match up. Like, this was the first one I did, and then I did this one, and they're the same amount of stitches, and they're like nice and neat together, and I'm like, that's boring. I want craziness. So I have like a smaller one here. This was only a 20 stitch cast on. This is a 30 inch one. Not 30 inch, 30 stitch cast on. This is a 40 stitch cast on. And then this one is just a 20 stitch cast on as well. And this one was a whopping 60 stitch cast on. This took me like a day or two to finish. And like these 3 colors look really good together. Like I like them together. And then it's just this blue right here, this Winter Wonderland blue is really kind of irking me because it doesn't work as well as the other blues together. Like here it is with the dark Midnight Heather, and here it is with the jean heather color, and then here it is with the like icy blue, and it's just, I don't know, like, I mean, I'll work with it because I have it and I can't return it, and I hate wasting, but, I mean, this would be for me, it'll be for me to play with shapes and color and just craziness because I don't want the edges to match up. So I don't want like these 2 squares right here. I want them to be crazy and out of control and little and huge and medium sized. I want to like have fun with this. I like unplanned things. I like it when it's just like crazy color combinations and crazy shapes and sizes, and like this doesn't have, like, it looks like it's a planned color striping, but it wasn't. I was just like, I feel like doing a darker, no, I feel like doing this one now. And it was just like random, like, I tried to think of a pattern for it. I'm like, you know what, no, I'm just going to do it, I'm just going to wing it. So that's on my needles. It's going to be on my needles for a very long time. This is probably just going to be something every once in a while I do a square or two just to like break up other projects that I'm working on, and hopefully I'll have a throw blanket at some point. for myself instead of my mom. And I'm using Wool of the Andes on this needle right here. It's a Knit Picks Harmony interchangeable. I'm pretty sure this is a size 7. Yes, size 7. Whatever that is in millimeters. I don't know. It's like the recommended size for a worsted weight yarn. And I've been working it in garter stitch. I probably will do a few squares in stockinette just to change up the texture and see how that works out. I will let you guys know. Also on my needles, I don't know if I showed you guys, if I've made any progress since my last time I showed you this, but this is the sock, and there's the heel flap, and I've been posting pictures of Instagram of it, and everyone seems to really like it on Instagram, so yeah, it's just, you know, the heel flap. I need about one more 4-row repeat of the heel flap before I do the heel turn, and which I'm probably going to have to do like in complete isolation and by myself as I concentrate exclusively on my short row wrap and turns. I've done short rows and wrap and turn. I got pretty good at it working on the Tin Can Knits Pop blanket. I made one of those for my cousin's baby for her baby shower way back when in August this past summer, and that was like where you knit a circle and then you do short rows to make like a square white edge. And I've done short rows on toe up socks, so I'm not so worried about the technique itself. It's just keeping track of it and making sure I don't screw it up. Like I said, this is a practice sock, so I'm not like I just want to practice with it. So that is that for now, and then I haven't finished my dad's hat. It just needs a little seaming, so I'm not going to show that. I started working on my mom's blanket again. I did one cable repeat since I last showed it to you yesterday, and I don't, it's so big I can't fit it in my project bag very well. So it's a little hard to bring with me, but I'm going to try to like work on it more and get it done. So that is the knitting, and then so if you're here just for the yarn part of the podcast, I'll see you next week. Thank you for stopping by, and buy more yarn. I'm enabling you. Go out there and just spend all your money on yarn. Build a huge dragon hoard of it and dive into it, because you know life's too short. You don't have enough yarn. All right, see you next week. Okay, so moving on to the book review part of the podcast. I see I'm at 52 minutes, so I'm going to try to be a little brief. Try to keep this around an hour long. So we're going to talk about the fiction one first, which is, I'm getting better about this. I'm not getting off of camera. Isabel Allende, the House of Spirits, which I know it's backwards to you, but here's the cover. This is just a trade paperback version. And I read this book back in high school, my junior year of high school or my senior year of high school, the year that we had mythical realism as our unit in English. And I actually really liked this one. It was one of the few books I read in high school that I actually liked, you know, read for school anyway. And it's really, really good. Like Isabel Allende is, I'd had 2 books of hers before this, but they were young adult books, and I didn't make the connection until years later when I was putting like books away. I'm like, oh, I've read her before, and I just never realized it. So I have a whole bunch of stuff by her now, and I've read quite a few, and I love everything she's put out. She's an extremely talented author. She's Peruvian or Chilean. She was born in one and lives in the other right now, I think. Something like that. She's... Don't come to me for facts. We all know Google knows more than I do. But it's definitely... This is like quintessential mythical realism. So if you don't know what that is, it's like... It's a genre of books where it takes place in it's like weird magic things happen in real life mundane situations. And so this is a good example of it because it's usually about a family, like usually a family saga sort of deal going on. Another good example is 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Marquez. He's got like 3 names. 100 Years of Solitude. I also had to read that one. And I feel like I would go back and reread that one someday because I kind of liked it, but it kind of felt like it took 100 years to read when I had to read it. You know what I mean? So I'll go back now. Anyway, focusing. Yes. So the House of Spirits is about the main character is kind of Clara, who is this woman right here pictured on the cover, and she is. It starts out when she's 10 years old, and she has this beautiful older sister who's about to get married to this man named Esteban, and it turns out tragedy strikes, and in the end, a few years pass. Esteban and Clara get married, and the story is about their family and how it, like, a few generations progress and Clara herself is this weird character. She's like she's clairvoyant. She has like psychic powers almost, and she's just very up in the clouds and kind of like above the earth, so to speak. She just isn't quite in touch with reality like you and me would be. And Esteban is this incredibly like hard-working man. He comes from a family that was originally very wealthy. It was like almost like nobility. But his mother had been sick, and so he was impoverished pretty much. All he had was his name, and so throughout the book he builds up his fortune again, becomes a very rich, powerful man. His family is very comfortable, really rich, very powerful, and he eventually becomes like a politician in the government. And so we have his very real, concrete, you know, living life versus Clara. He loves Clara, but she's always very aloof to him. She's just like, oh yes, you're here. Okay, and she goes like wandering off into the other side of the house. So she like talks to spirits, she talks to aliens at some point. She believes that aliens are spirits. It's really cool. So it's a story about his family, and it's amazing, and it's a good length, but it's broken up into periods of time, and it's fascinating. It holds on to you the whole time. The setting changes every once in a while, and it's like parallel stories to one another of these people in this family. Um, there are some sad parts in here. It's kind of like the story of, I'm gonna get this wrong. It either takes place in Chile or Peru during the 20s and 30s, 50s and 60s, I think, like that time frame. And it's interesting because Isabel Allende, she lived there during this time period, and it's kind of like it blends in some historical fiction as well, because she had a relative who was the prime minister of Peru or Chile. I'm sorry, I'm so bad at this. And there was a socialist revolution that took place, and it was successful for a couple of years before a military coup threw it over again. And like in the background, you have this political intrigue and stuff that really happened, and it's based on her experiences with having a family member in the midst of this. So it's also got some insight in that. So I always like things with a little bit of political intrigue in the background. Like the mythical realism really attracts me about this, but so does the slight background of political unrest and changes in society over time. So I recently bought this past week at a thrift store for 50 cents because I thought for the longest time, I had it at one point. I had it because I had to buy it for high school, and I don't know where it is. I can't find it. It's probably just buried in my boxes somewhere, but I wanted to have another copy. It was 50 cents, and I figure if I find the other one, I can always just, trade one of these in, and I'd just rather make sure that I have it when I could get so cheap. It is in really good condition, too. Like, it's not like a beat-up one. Like the other ones have been. Like, Clara's daughter and her granddaughter are pretty kick-ass, too. Like, they do some, like, they join the revolution and everything like that, and they're, like, tortured, and they, like, persevere, and they're awesome. They survive, whereas a lot of the male members of the family who get involved don't. So it's also about, like, the quiet strength and dignity of women, which is always very appealing. Highly recommend it. Go and look for it. Anything by Isabel Allende. She's also written Daughter of Fortune. She wrote the Eva Luna stories. She's written, I'm just glancing at my bookshelf here, Portrait in Sepia, Daughter of Fortune. City of the Beasts is the series that she wrote for young adults that I read. It's also really good. Very mythical realism. Takes place in the Peruvian rainforest. No, Amazonian rainforest. It is really cool. The grandma in that story, total kick-ass, hard-ass. She's so cool. Um, and then she's written a whole bunch of stuff. Like, I haven't even scratched the surface of most of her other works. But definitely look into her. She's really cool. Okay, so moving right along. I'm sorry, I have like everything's becoming like a messy pile instead of an organized pile that I had earlier. The next one I'm going to talk about is a nonfiction book called Haiti, the Aftershocks of History by Laurent Dubois. And it looks like this. It's a hardback. I got this from a used bookstore for like $1. And it's, oh, what do you know? There's just something in here. The original price is $32. I got it for like $1. Let me see what time. It's a fairly recent book, copyright 2012, and what it is, it's a comprehensive history of Haiti, and also the end of the book talks about Haiti after the earthquake in 2010. I'm sorry, I should know this. I'm really bad about facts, but the big earthquake, it happened while I was still in Florida, so it's been a while. But yeah, it was a huge earthquake. It was very devastating. I'm sure you remember it from the news. But this book is mostly about the history of Haiti, and it was not something I was familiar with. And I knew, like, this is right around the time that I knew I wanted to go into anthropology, and I was getting really interested in the voodoo and Haitian, the spiritualities of African diaspora. And I knew that I needed to know I need a historical context for my interest. So this is just it's a comprehensive history of Haiti. And he writes this guy he's written other stuff for about Haiti. Oh, here it is. 2010 earthquake. Okay. It was in 2010. So this was written 2 years after that. And it takes you the independence, the citadel, stalemate, sacrifice, looking north, occupation, second independence, and an immaterial being. So that's the name of the chapters, and each chapter gives you, it takes you from settlement, colonial history of Haiti, all the way up through Papa Doc, all the civil wars, the independence, because Haiti has a bad reputation. In the Western mind, it's the poorest country on the side of the in this hemisphere. And a lot of people blame it for its own poverty. And a lot of people try to help, but they do it all wrong. And it's a misunderstood culture and country. And this book does a really good job of being objective, but also pointing out that Haiti is not it's not destined for poverty. There's a lot of great wonderful things started in Haiti. Like, it was the first country to earn its independence and become its own republic. But I mean, it's split into two. There was a kingdom of Haiti for a while, and there was a lot of history. A lot of Haiti's history is a struggle about proving itself to the rest of the world, and it's a good read if you're interested in Caribbean history, if you're interested in post-colonialism, if you're interested in colonial history, pretty much anything to do with, and it also talks about the political climate through the years, and it gives you a really thorough but very readable historical background of Haiti, and it certainly helps put a lot of if you're interested in African diaspora spiritualities, Haiti is kind of like the cradle of it in the Western Hemisphere, because while Haiti was, it was a slave colony for a significant part, part of its early history, it's where a lot of the African religions were able to survive in, I wouldn't say a more pure form, but in a more closer form to Africa. And the reason it has a lot to do with its history and its political climate. And so it helps put into context, things like things of if you're interested in African diaspora religions, it's important to understand your history as well, is what I'm trying to get at in a very convoluted way. So I highly recommend it. It's like getting washed out by my lights. I tried putting the lights on the other side of the screen instead of behind me this time for better lighting. I'm still working on it. I'll get better, I promise. So it's if you can pick this up, I'm sure you can rent it from the library. Because $32 is kind of expensive. I got it secondhand, so I got it cheap. But yeah, I'm definitely interested. I want to read other stuff by this Laurent Dubois. He's a really good writer. This was definitely something I read it quickly, so it was an easy read. But it was like it wasn't dry. A lot of history nonfiction, I think, has a tendency to be very dry, very academic, and very like aloof. This is objective, but not dry. So this is probably something you would read for a college course, I imagine. I think the person who had it before read it 12 days to read book, 31 pages a day. Like there's a bunch of random like underlining in the first part of the book, and there's some notes. I don't. It's kind of cool. I can go through and like review the book if I ever desire from this person's notes. But the story of Haiti it's a fascinating history. Like there's a lot of passion in Haitian history, and there's a lot of fire and blood, and like the fight for freedom is something that is in Haitian history, and you gain an interesting perspective on our own history, American history, from reading this book. Because we did occupy Haiti for like 20 years in the 30s, starting in the 30s, ending in the 30s. It's been a little while since I read this book. I read it in the summer. I'm not very good at retaining. But yeah, we occupied Haiti for a long time, and we have greatly affected Haiti, and Haiti affected us. It's just some people don't realize it because it's so small. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of OhSheep podcast. I have a little bit of I submitted 2 grad school applications. I have one more to do. Today I'm going to go to my favorite coffee shop, sit down, and tailor my personal statement to Cornell University, where I'm going to apply next. That's January 1st is the deadline for that. So if I can just get all that done today, I can submit that, and then the only thing I have to worry about is the recommendations. And I had the third person finally get back to me. One of them, the head of my university's government department, which is the part of my major when I was in college, wrote me. He already submitted his letters of recommendation for Cornell and Syracuse University. The other 2 I haven't checked on. I don't think they have, because I haven't gotten an email from the application. But yeah, there's a distinct possibility that I might miss these deadlines and it might be too late. But I am probably going to start looking for a real job, as my dad calls it, soon. I'm probably going to have to quit cupcakes and find something that is a little bit more beneficial to my future plans. Like, I am going to try to apply for an internships in the Smithsonian. If they don't take me as an intern, I will volunteer. I'm basically looking for, in case I don't get into grad school this round, I want people who can recommend me for next year, because I think I'm struggling with these professors. Like, they told me they would, and then a year and a half later, they're like, oh, I don't know if I'd be good for your recommendation, because I don't know if your anthropology people will like the fact that I did this. I'm like, just write me a recommendation letter. I'm sure you have a stencil for it. Ugh, frustrations. So anyway, that is the bit of personal blurb. So, yes, thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed my book reviews, my yarn, and my makeup. And I will see you guys next week. Bye for now.